Names and titles can either be essential or non-essential. You might have learned that a comma should always be placed before a name or a title, but that's not always the case. Commas should sometimes be placed before and after names and titles, and sometimes they shouldn't even be used at all. So an important thing to keep in mind is that when a name or a title appears in the middle of a sentence, there are generally only two correct options. The first one being two commas, one before and after the name or the title, or no commas at all. And remember, if you're ever unsure of whether a comma is necessary, just treat the name or a title like any other non-essential clause or word. Cross it out and see if the sentence still makes sense in context. If it does make sense, the commas are necessary. If it doesn't make sense, the commas are not necessary. So let's look at some examples. Ada Lovelace and her acquaintance Charles Babbage were two of the most influential figures in the history of computer science. So because the name Charles Babbage appears in the middle of the sentence, our options are two commas or no commas. So we can quickly eliminate C and D because those options only include one comma. Now to decide between A and B, we could cross out the name between the commas. So the sentence would read, Ada Lovelace and her acquaintance were two of the most influential figures in the history of computer science. Now, grammatically, this sentence does make sense, but a crucial piece of information is missing. We don't know who her acquaintance was. That means the name is essential, and no commas are required. So the correct answer is B. Let's look at another one. She eventually won a scholarship to Franconia College, but returned to New York City to write. In 1985, she published the novel Annie John, a semi-autobiographical story of a young girl growing up in Antigua. So, as usual, we're just going to start out by crossing out the title and reading the sentence without it. In 1985, she published the novel, a semi-autobiographical story of a young girl growing up in Antigua. So this sentence does not make sense in context because we don't know which novel the sentence is referring to. So that makes the title essential. Now, in most cases, that would indicate that commas should not be placed around the title. However, this is a rare exception to the two commas or no commas rule. A comma is required to separate the dependent clause from the independent clause. Without the comma, the sentence just sounds jumbled. So our correct answer is B.